Welcome to Bedford County Sports Talk Live, hosted by David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live here on the Shelbyville Now platform. Guys, this is our Christmas, New Year's, end of year show.
It's a wrap up.
It's a wrap up show for the whole year, and we got a lot of things going on right in the middle of it. We've got county basketball teams and tournaments and invitationals or whatever you want to call it. We've got our college bowl games kicking into gear, high gear, and playoffs already going. Tonight, a big game. Before we dive in and start talking about that, though, we want to thank our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville and Kincaid
Service Company,
where service is their middle name. And we want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody out there from us and our sponsors, First Bank and Kincaid Service Company. And we're going to jump right back in and talk about some local sports here with our high schools. And we're going to hear from our sponsors first, and we'll be right back.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Coffee up this morning.
All righty. We're back in here with Bedford County Sports Talk Live. And to start off, we're going to run over some scores, and then we're going to jump into the stories of the year in Bedford County sports. And we've already talked about, we're picking three of the top stories for Bedford County high school sports for 2024. And if anybody out here that's watching, if you've got a story that you think needs to be mentioned, please text it in the chat and let us know.
One of your top stories, let us know.
Yeah, what is your top thing that happened in Bedford County sports this year? Before we do that, though, we've got some girls and boys basketball to talk about. Our high school teams are in action. Some of them are even playing today, Bill. What do you got so far?
And they're away from, I don't think any of them's local, are they?
No, I don't think anybody's local.
They're all out.
Shelbyville had Siegel Monday night. The girls are coming on. The Shovel girls,
yes,
69-37, got a win. The same night, the Shovel boys lost 52-46. However, they played Siegel a really good game this time. Yeah. This was a lot better by the boys.
Closer game than that first.
And then the Shovel girls Tuesday night upset Tullahoma 44-41, and the Shovel boys lost 63-43 to Tullahoma. That's our second time playing Tullahoma. Then you've got, we couldn't find a score, but Shovel played Culleoka Thursday night. I can't find anywhere it's not on Coach T.
Yeah.
Now, the big thing is you've got county teams over here with Coach Wortman at Blackman in the Outback Classic. You got Shelbyville, Cascade, and Webb all over there. And Shelbyville got trounced by Coach Wortman and Blackman yesterday, 68-26.
Wow.
That was rough. Cascade got beat yesterday, 60-55 by Kirkwood in the same tournament.
And I think when I looked at Coach T, Kirkwood supposedly got a pretty good ball team.
And now today, Cascade's got to play Blackman.
Is Kirkman local? I mean, are they in Tennessee or are they?
They're a Tennessee team.
Okay.
And now you got Cascade having to play Blackman today, and Shelbyville plays Fayette Ware. And Fayette Ware beat Webb yesterday. So anyway, the girls, basically the rest of the week was Murfreesboro Central Magnet beat the Cascade girls 66-52. Cascade boys beat their boys 67-38. Cascade girls lost to Chattanooga Notre Dame 40-29. And Eagleville beat Community girls 53-49. Huntland girls beat the Community girls 50-37. Community boys lost to Eagleville 61-37. And they beat Huntland last night, 98-49.
Let's back up to the community Eagleville. Eagleville is probably the best.
Probably.
They're one of the
in
better
their-
teams
yeah,
that we've seen
in Middle
around.
Tennessee for their classification.
They're good.
So,
Yeah,
so
they
we're going
can
to watch them, and we'll see them do very well. So, community came back with vengeance against Hunt.
Right.
Yeah.
Mentioned Webb, who's also at the Outback Classic. So they're all playing over there. So if you maybe want to ride up to Murfreesboro, go to Blackman, you can actually see Webb, Cascade, and Shelbyville at Blackman
Scott
High
Spray's
School.
got a score for us, 54-20 on the Shelbyville girls against
Okay.
Toyota.
54-20. We
Thank you,
win.
Scott.
54-20.
Did
Yeah.
we win? Shall we win?
Yeah.
Good.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So the girls got their coach back.
Yeah.
And coming on strong. So that's
Played
that's a good
Tullahoma. That
sign.
was a good win over Tullahoma.
Yeah.
That was a really good win.
Yeah.
Webb played Innsworth. I couldn't find a score on that one. That was last night. And like I mentioned, Fayette Ward beat Webb 53-45. And they play Kirkland today. They beat Cascade, plays Webb today. So that kind of gets you up on basketball.
All right.
All right.
All right. Now, we're going to talk about the top 3 sports stories in Bedford County. And we were talking beforehand, and we all agreed what they were. And the
Let's start with number 3.
Number 3, Robert Bailey, rushing for 1,934 yards or whatever it was he ended up with. And he said he led the state in Class 5A in rushing yards. And he was close in touchdowns. I think he had 28 touchdowns. And that put him at the top of the class in 5A.
And he ran for two school record games of over 300 yards. One of them in a playoff game.
Right.
And
so,
he started the season as the second tailback.
Yes.
Right. Behind Rocky Chandler.
Behind
he
Rocky.
ended up carrying the load for the year.
Yep.
That's story number 3. Number 2, Shelbyville again won the region. Went undefeated pretty handily. And went to the quarterfinals.
Won 2 playoff
games. That was a good year for them. That's story number 2. Number 3
Yeah.
and number 1, Cascade girls brought a state golf championship, first state championship in school history of any kind.
Team-wise.
Team-wise. Yes.
Team-wise. They've had some individuals,
but a team.
and the band has won some of theirs, but this is the first
sporting
TSSAA
team sport, TSSAA state championship. Congratulations.
And
that was a story that kind of got mixed in with all the football stuff going on, and we didn't get to talk about it much, but that was huge. And then Anna Clanton signed a scholarship.
Hey, their girls were like number 2 and number 3 in the state. I mean, not only did they win the state, but the girls were second. I believe it's second and third or third and fourth top golfers in the state. And they won the state pretty convincingly.
Yes. Big deal right there.
Exactly.
And they did not get enough notoriety for it. So I just want to give them, I was thinking, you guys were thinking exactly the same thing when we sat down to talk about this. That's the number 1 story.
And the other girl, Tashiana Green, she'll sign somewhere.
Probably so.
She'll sign because she's had a great career, not only in high school like the Clanton, but plays in.
Where was it did Anna Clanton sign at?
I'm not
okay,
sure.
I can't remember now, but I do know she signed a scholarship, and that's huge news. So congratulations to Cascade on that, and of course on Central with their run again, and then Robert Bailey.
I just can't go. They're going for over 300 yards twice the way he did. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So there's been a bunch of good running backs come through Shelbyville Central High School.
Right. Well, and the thing about it is, he had a great year this year, but he wouldn't have had the same year had the other guy because they would have had to share the load. He was the bell cow.
Yeah.
He got the lion's share of the carry.
Well, he did and he didn't because about 5 games he was
3
games.
3 games he played less than a half.
Right.
I mean, Coach Todd would have wanted to. The guy probably could have ran for 2,600 yards against running clocks.
Right. But we didn't. He got to rest a little bit.
Right.
And we got some experience for Nate Zimmerman coming in as a backup, and Nate did a good job stepping.
But he's coming back.
Yeah, junior, turning senior.
Yeah, he'll be a senior next year, so he'll be coming back.
And not that it's a sports story, but a shout out to MTSU for honoring Rocky after he tore his ACL and honoring scholarship.
Exactly.
That was a class act by Coach Mason up in Murfreesboro.
Class act, and I don't know if you saw it. Rocky's been on balance boards and all types of stuff going through his rehab, and he's recuperating fast. I mean,
Good.
he's there.
Good.
He's way ahead of schedule from where he should be. And Mary Lita Shavers is one of the key reasons because she is working with him hard, and he wants to get back 110%, and he's getting there. But
rough year for MTSU, but it's going to be kind of cool the next year or two to see these local kids finally playing over in Murfreesboro.
Agree.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's shift gear in there and talk a little college. Of course, we had last night's first playoff game, Indiana Notre Dame. What did y'all think about that first game?
I thought the atmosphere for college football was out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
That is what it's all about. The people at Notre Dame were excited. Notre Dame was excited. Indiana was excited. But Notre Dame was just far more superior than Indiana was. And I think Indiana was deserving of being there. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been there. They should.
By far, that was the poorest game their quarterbacks played. I think he was one of his first seven. Indiana's.
Yeah.
He just didn't have a good game.
No, he didn't. But great atmosphere.
How about that 98-yard touchdown run?
Yeah, right after the pick.
Number 4. Right after the interception to go 98 yards, Derrick Henry style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was huge. That was big. That was the highlight of that game right there. That was it. Mm-hmm. And so just thinking about these matchups and the way we were talking before we came on the air here about, Kenny, you made the statement we need to pick the top 12. I'm looking at 2 or 3 teams that wouldn't fare well in the Big Ten or the SEC that are in this playoffs.
I'm the same way, David. I feel the same way. They said some of the teams got the picks because they were in the Big Ten.
Right.
But I just don't think the Big Ten was that strong this year. If you gave the Big Ten Florida's schedule, if you gave Oklahoma, if you gave Penn State or Ohio State or Oregon, Florida, not saying that they're not good teams, but there's no way you'll ever get. My thing is, I think this is an invitational.
Yeah.
Because of the seeding wise, I think we saw some game. You saw the game last night. Well, now Notre Dame's going to have to turn around and play Georgia. Good game, way it should be. But whoever wins this Penn State SMU game, who are they going to turn around and play?
Boise State.
Yeah.
That's
going to be a problem. Here's my point. You take SMU, you take Boise State, you take Arizona State, you throw them in the Big Ten. How do they compete there? Throw them in the SEC and watch.
And here's another thing.
Clemson in there too.
Here's something I got out of this also. What is Clemson's ranking in this? They're 12th. They won the ACC. They beat SMU, yet SMU got a better seeding in the tournament than Clemson did.
Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State beat Penn State head-to-head, and they got a better seed. Penn State did.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so head-to-head doesn't matter as much.
It is what it is
and
right now.
And they can say what they can say about that is Penn State played in the championship, so that's where they got. But Clemson and SMU both played in the championship, and Clemson beat them, and SMU still got a higher seed.
Yeah, well, we've always, just for as long as I've been alive, there's been debate on rankings. Mm-hmm. I can remember back in the day,
and there always will be,
when Barry Bryant was the head coach and Joe Paterno was the coach, and then you had Lou Holtz, not him, but the guy before, Dan Devine, and all those guys. Notre Dame, Penn State, Alabama, and Oklahoma back then too. They were all in the top 4 or 5, and everybody would argue about who was number 1. And the schedules would be different, and they all played different. And at the end, it would still be a big debate about how they shouldn't have been number 1. And we're always going to have that as long as opinions involved.
Well, Clemson played 2 SEC teams this year.
Yeah,
and they're over.
Yeah,
in both of them.
Yeah. And I'll say, whenever this shakes out, we're going to after today's games, we're going to go down to 4 games. We're going to have 8 teams left.
Yeah.
Still 2 of those 8 games, still 2 of those next 4 games are going to be lopsided because you got Boise State that were gifts.
Yeah.
When you get down to the Final Four. Now you're going to see the Final Four, and it's going to be the same as it always has been. Nothing's going to change. The same teams are going to be there. All you've done is you give some of these other teams
a chance to get
everybody's got a trophy.
Yeah,
how would you like to
but
be
it's
Oregon?
also a good chance to get embarrassed.
You're
Exactly.
You're undefeated. You're Oregon. You're the number one seed, and
Yeah.
you're honored by getting to play Tennessee and Ohio State. Come on.
But let's go this part next. The 8 teams that are playing right now, even though they're playing in the first round, they're at a big disadvantage because of the transfer portal.
Yes.
The 4 teams that got buys had the opportunity to bring athletes in from other places to get them for the ones that had to play the Notre Dame and Indiana.
They were preparing for a ball game.
They had to prepare for a ball game. They didn't get a chance. So that's going to put them further behind in the transfer portal. And when you looked at Indiana had 13 players playing for them last night that came from the transfer portal from James Madison.
Yeah.
So that's put them behind.
Yeah.
I think NCAA, nothing against the transfer portal, say that, but I think there shouldn't be 2 times. There shouldn't be this one and one later on in May. I think it needs to be later on in May because
after the season,
like Coach Saban said on College Game Day yesterday, the academic school year and the sports year, they don't match.
Yeah.
So a kid should have to finish out his degree because when they leave, what's that do with their education?
Yeah.
How's that playing in their education when they should be able to do that. Have to go with, and some of them will say, well, if they don't let them go early, they won't be able to go through spring at the new school. Well, they go through spring at their old school. See, they may be fitting better off than they thought they were. But the whole reason they're leaving is NIL.
Scott Spray just made a prediction on tonight's game. Tennessee 50, Ohio State 10. He's optimistic. Scott, I hope you're right. I've picked Ohio State to beat Tennessee.
I know, and Bill picked Ohio State to beat Tennessee, and look what he's got on today.
I know, he's pulling. I'm pulling for Tennessee.
We'll get to Tennessee in a minute. I might change my mind. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah.
But let's go back to James Franklin, who went off on this tirade, if y'all saw it. He's right. Because he's got some kids hitting the portal here that aren't going to be able to play for him.
Exactly.
Wait until it's over. The championship game is over. Then open the portal. Because Franklin said there's 2 or 3 of his kids that want to play here, but they're going to hit the portal, but they
have
can't.
to.
If you're going to hit it, you got to hit it.
It's just like
you can't play.
I think was it him that about his quarterback? His
backup quarterback.
His backup quarterback had to hit the transfer portal. He didn't want to,
right?
But he said, "Coach, I have to because if I don't, they're going to pick all these others, and I'm going to get left behind."
Let me ask y'all this: what is the driving force, the motivation factor behind the transfer portal being like it is and the NIL deal being like it is when the NCAA 10 years ago was so strict on this, they would penalize a team heavily, make them bowl ineligible and all kinds of stuff for doing the stuff now that they're condoning.
I think college athletics is getting to be a semi-pro league.
We're there.
And that's why Belichick is back at North Carolina.
Coming in.
I mean, but that's the and you build no chemistry. You can't develop a kid because if you develop him and if Bill Anderson gets on Kenny Parker too hard and he hurts Kenny Parker's feelings, bye, coach, I'm gone. I'm going somewhere else. And then they're going to give me some money. There's got to be some rules.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, college athletics has no rules. It's freelance, whatever you want to do.
I'm going to prove it that it's about the money. We just went down our bowl pick'em list, all right, for the bowl games. Listen to this. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Game Above Sports Bowl. Guaranteed Rate Bowl.
I understand what you're saying, but I think some of this is good because a lot of there's not going to be people in the stands. There'll be a few, but there's not going to be. But these bowls,
they're television.
Right. But what they're doing is they're support bowls because they're giving back to some charities and stuff that we don't see.
But here's the way it used to be, Kenny.
I wonder what
Back-
the Snoop Dogg Bowl, whose charity that gave
I
it
know
to.
it. I don't
Snoop
even
Dogg,
know,
that's what it
man.
says.
I don't
the
even want to
Snoop
think
Dogg
about it. I
Bowl.
don't know. I don't want to think.
Well,
But
what
here's the thing.
about the other night when California played and it was a Gronk Bowl?
All right, listen to this. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I remember the Sun Bowl sponsored by blah, 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 blah. Now they got their name in front of the bowl name.
Mm-hmm. Because,
hey, they were getting money back then, but now the companies are dictating this and their television deals.
About the Pop-Tart Bowl.
The Pop-Tart, hey, I'm in on that.
That sounds good.
Think about it. The companies are giving the money. It's cheaper to sponsor the bowl and put your name out front. Now you're getting the advertisement.
Yeah.
If you didn't do it and they had the Sun Bowl sponsored by Tostitos,
Right.
now Tostitos' name's not out there, so they're going to have to.
It's marketing
all
for
money.
that company.
It's
It's all
marketing.
this. The whole thing is about money.
It's all about
of it
money.
is about money.
Yeah.
The transfer portal's about money, and the NIL deal's about money, and it's about corporations stamping their name on the field.
I
All
agree.
right, I'm still tore up
all-
when I look at UT Stadium and I see Pilot stamped there. I know who owns that team.
Well, you know who's giving them the money.
I know who owns the team.
I don't think he will.
Now, Bill, you want to talk about something else? I know a minute ago you were wanting to talk about.
Well, I'm going to mention something tonight that may happen. If Tennessee, we'll get these bowls in a minute, but if Tennessee beats Ohio State, they're going to fire their coach, and I bet it don't take till Monday, and he's gone. I got a name for you.
All right,
Mike Vrabel to Ohio State.
possibility. But
That
he's
would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll go. Let me tell you why. Mike Vrabel to the New England Patriots.
Is
No,
Mayo out?
that guy's his
I
first year.
think Mayo is out.
All right.
I think the Chicago Bears would be interesting for Vrabel too.
Vrabel's
He
he's
fits
got
the town.
He's,
You know,
he's
he
going
really
to have his
fits
good.
that.
He's
Yeah.
got a hey.
But he's
got
an
a good
Ohio
name.
State guy.
He's going to be. His name's going to be. He's a New England Patriot also.
I just don't
His
see him letting
name.
Mayo go after a year.
He's going to be a hot name.
5 years ago, I would say that would be crazy for Belichick to go to North Carolina State. But given the state of college football, it makes sense. It's just another pro league.
He's going to excel at it. You just watch him.
gonna be good at
He's
it.
going to be good at
just
it.
like, I mean, he's going into free agency every
See-
year and grab some
See,
players.
there's a difference between Belichick going to the college football than it was 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
When Saban went to pro football.
You put Saban, but Saban got out of college football because of this, because he loves the scholar athletes.
He likes to build,
Yeah.
to make, and
These
you
these
just
kids
can't do it anymore.
These kids
They'll-
now are
they'll-
getting tossed into this money.
Just a shame Belichick couldn't have got another NFL job
I know.
and got the Shula record, the 15 wins he was
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
from. No one's ever going to touch it now.
It don't matter. He may be back.
Well, where's Andy Reid in the mix on that?
He's way down,
Is he
way down the
way
list.
down there.
I mean,
All
he's a
But
great coach.
nothing says that Belichick won't be at NC State
Age.
for a couple of years and then
He's already
and then go
72.
back
so-
Yeah.
into the NFL.
Okay. The other topic that's come out this week, they say the Texas quarterback is going to stay one more year because he's been advised not to go into the NFL. And he's also, the rumor is that Texas is going to go ahead and start Arch Manning over him. And there's a possibility that Ewers or whatever his name is, might transfer for his senior year. Have y'all heard this floating
have.
around?
I haven't.
So what is going on with that?
The last time I'd heard Ewers was
Well,
going pro.
Ole
Well,
Miss,
they-
Ole
they
Miss has
say
made
it's
a
backing
big
out.
move at Archie Manning.
I
It's
know.
almost forced
I know
Texas'
it.
hand.
You know what?
Giving NIL money and
There
Arch
you go.
Manning to
That's
Ole
it.
Miss. So they're going to have to let Arch play or let him go to Ole Miss. And I think they're going to choose Arch.
I think they are too, because he's the future of that program.
Well, he might be the future for 1 year because you don't know what NIL is
Yeah, I
going
know.
to do for
I
the
know.
next one.
And see, that's what gets this whole thing messed up. I mean, you can't plan ahead. It's about what's going to happen next week, next year, and then that's it. It's you can't plan.
Now, does Kiffin turn his, if he can't get Manning, does he go after Brock, the Ewers kid?
He'll go. Hey, he's going after somebody.
You better
He will
believe
get
it.
somebody
He'll
because
get
that's
somebody.
his. He don't even
That's
recruit anymore.
No.
Well,
just
he
goes to
does,
free
but
agency.
that's
Yeah,
what that's
it's-
but that's this is where he's making
and,
his
and
thing.
we've got kids right now, and you know of one, Bill, at the high school level that are seniors that could be signing a deal with a college for a full scholarship, But no, they're going to wait and see what the transfer portal does first before they ever offer a scholarship.
Well,
you know the situation I mentioned,
and
Bill.
I think something else is going to really you're going to see start affecting college football. We talked about it a little bit before the show. Is the Vanderbilt quarterback getting his eligibility, which I think is great. But now what the judge ruled is no longer do the 2 years of the years that they play in junior college count against their collegiate career.
It's like they played
NCAA.
6 years of high
so
school.
So you could play 2 years in JUCO and then play 4 years or 5 years in college and be playing for 7 years. And what I think will hurt there is I think it'll hurt the high school kids.
I do too.
But for him to get the 1 year he got at the first part of the judge's ruling was basically he almost redshirted at the military school.
He played there 2 years.
But he didn't play at all the first year. So I think you could make the argument that's a redshirt year at a major college.
Because of the military.
Right. And because it's military, it's different. It's a different situation.
That would be different than going to whatever these other junior colleges are. You know, in the past, kids had to go to junior colleges to get better, to get their academics up or whatever.
So here's the question. Is there a red shirt in junior college?
No.
There's not.
So that's the argument. That's the argument for letting him play here.
Right. If there's a kid in junior college that gets injured in his first year, he's losing the year of eligibility.
If he's in junior college,
yes.
He's maybe in his junior college year,
yes,
but he ain't losing them in
But I understand that. But he's got 1 year of eligibility. He's getting his second. All right. So does that give him 3, or has he just got 2 now coming out of junior college?
2. That's what he has.
That's why he's getting it back.
Because if he got hurt his freshman year, that counted against the junior college, which also counted against the 4 years.
Right, it carries forward.
But the ruling says that no years of junior college, whether you're hurt or not, is going to count against you once you sign with Vanderbilt.
I thought that was the opinion after the ruling. The ruling was to give him 1 year. But hey, here's what I think. I think you got a problem with all junior guys.
They have to come back. They have to come back and make final judgment on this. This is preliminary. So
this is guys nothing to do with NCAA. This has nothing to NCAA's out of it. This is law. This is law.
Well, who would have thought Vandy's quarterback would have an NIL deal of over $1 million?
Hey, he's got.
Kudos to Vanderbilt for putting money in their program for a change.
They got to.
I love it.
Have you seen where Vanderbilt's gone in NIL? Look and see what they're getting out of the NIL. They're getting some for the kids that were 4 and 5
they're bringing. They got some coming in the portal this year.
Here's something.
One linebacker or a defensive lineman from Alabama's going down there.
Texas.
They're picking them up.
Okay, have y'all heard that Vanderbilt, once their stadium's complete, they're going to try to get a playoff game, one of the big bowl games or a championship game down the road after it's renovated. How many is this thing going to seat? It's not going to be much bigger than what it was to start with. Is it speak 40,000?
I think it's going to be a little bigger. I think it's going to be more.
I think it's going to be. Isn't it going to be a complete?
The complete bowl. So that we're in there, 30, 35 range. Now that gets them to 50 maybe.
50, 55.
Okay. I mean, they're talking. I read an article where that's their goal to because Nashville has an attraction and have a championship game there. I don't see that.
Well, if you're coming to Nashville, you're going to go to the Titans' new stadium over here.
But they said not that. But they said they were setting up for that college.
The Titans' new stadium is not going to be much bigger than that.
No,
it's going to hold 60. It's going to have all those amenities.
Yeah, it's not going to be much.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
You know, when you got fewer,
Let's take a break. Come back and actually talk about these games.
Yeah. Coach Davis, at what point can high school players sue NCAA that these rules are hurting their future earnings by allowing these kids to stay? You can redshirt in JUCO, but most choose not to use it. All right, I think that's next. I think you get a parent that's paid somebody to help them get a scholarship, and they're going to say, well, the NIL, this new transfer portal situation and this new ruling is hindered my child from getting a scholarship, and it's cost us money. I think it's possible that you will see a parent.
I don't disagree.
Anything's possible with a bunch of lawyers involved.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bill, you're right. Let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk some NFL.
And actually hit these playoff games real quick.
We got 3 playoff games today.
Yep, 3 playoff games.
Yep.
We'll be right back after we hear from First Bank and Kincaid
Service
Company.
We'll be right back.
Incade Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Comment me about.
All right, we're back in here with Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Now jumping into NFL, but before we do, we're going to talk about the college playoffs.
Three games
today, and Bill, give us the lowdown. If you got the Todd Bobo
Todd Bobo
line,
SMU is getting 9, so Penn State's favored by 9 at home in the cold up in Happy Valley. I like Penn State.
I don't think SMU needs a point. I like SMU straight
I'm picking
out.
SMU too.
I'm taking Penn State. Clemson, Texas. I think Texas is going to roll up on Clemson.
I agree.
The run is over. And now Clemson will be 0-3 versus the Southeastern Conference.
Texas.
I agree.
All right.
Then tonight, and the line was 12.5 on that one. The line on the Tennessee game has come down to 7. Last week I took Ohio State, thought they was going to win. Now I'm starting to change my mind.
Okay, you're going to leave me hanging on that
I'm
limb?
going to leave you hanging on a limb. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Do what?
And here's why.
I won't hear it.
That Ohio State offensive line is worse than Tennessee's offensive line, which is not very good.
They ain't changed from last week. They're the same ones that played last week.
I do think the cold weather, I think actually is going to help Tennessee in their running game.
Tennessee's not used to cold weather.
Oh, no.
it's
4
not.
degrees.
It's not.
4 degrees
Up on the hill,
colder up there.
up on
I
the
think it
hill
hurts
on the
Ohio
mountain.
State with throwing the ball to those NFL receivers and getting the ball down the field. Who can run the football? And I think Tennessee runs it better than Ohio State. And I think that'll be the difference.
I tell you, you saw it in the game last night. The difference between Indiana and Notre Dame was the physicality in the offense and defensive lines.
Yep.
The difference in the games, I've talked about it all year. When you get this time of year, those are what make the difference.
But hey, you didn't talk about it this year. You talk about this year and last year.
That is where these games, when it gets cold, you got to run the ball. You got to be able to stop the run. And I think Tennessee's line, offensively and their defensive line, there's just so many of them dudes, is superior. And you're going to hear, well, up north, we got the big old, they got them down here too, and they run a little bit better. That's the difference in the game today is Tennessee's offensive defensive lines.
I agree with your assessment, Bill, and I agree with what you're saying. You're picking Tennessee as well.
I am.
Okay. I'm picking Ohio State because the pressure's on the Ohio State quarterback. The kids know it. They got embarrassed at Michigan. They've got something to prove. They get a chip on their shoulder. This is a do-or-die game for Ohio State, in my opinion.
They better come out hot because if Tennessee comes out hot and they gets ahead of them, they're going to go, here we go
I think this
again.
is the first quarter for both these teams. Tennessee can't come out like they did against Vanderbilt, get down 14-0.
And here, I'm going to go out on a limb again. Tennessee wins this game. They go to California in a couple of weeks and play Oregon in the Rose Bowl, and they beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick Ohio State just because of the pressure that's on. I think the program, not just the coach, but the program's got a lot of pressure on it after losing to Michigan, and I think they're going to win.
When has Tennessee played? When has Tennessee? The knock is, when have we played well on the road? We hadn't.
Well, that's a factor too.
That game was a knock, and I'm going to still have to go with Tennessee tonight over physicality and what Kenny's saying, and I think our defense and I think the cold weather actually helps us. But we've not played well on the road. We get off slow starts on the road. We have trouble scoring in the first half. If that happens here, I think your key is going to be early.
Hey, you can say all these ifs. Nobody knows. These 19 to 23-year-old kids are going to be out there to decide what happens. But Tennessee's coach knows a little bit of football.
But if Tennessee gets up early, this game though could be the other way.
I'm seeing this as a 3 or 4 point game by Ohio State. The spread's a little too big, but I think Ohio State will win.
And I don't think the crowd in this one will be as bad as the Notre Dame. A lot of orange people going to the game.
Yeah, there's going to be
There's
quite a
going to be
few.
a lot of orange in
How
that
many
game
tickets
tonight.
were allocated?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it don't matter with
was
Tennessee
buying a
fans.
bunch
They
of
buy
them.
them.
They find them somewhere, don't
They
they?
are buying
They
them.
print them up.
They are buying
Now,
them.
you do have 2 pro games today. This is like the greatest football day of ever.
Hey,
all time
this is
football.
But wait a second. Don't go to pro yet. We got North Dakota State and South Dakota
That's
State.
true.
Some very good football there. And you got Montana State and South Dakota.
Montana State's pretty good.
And you know what? Those 4 teams are all up north, and they all play outside.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. North Dakota State don't, but they're having to play at South Dakota State.
Yeah, there's a lot of ball.
At
Yeah.
lunch, you got the
Yeah.
Texans and the Chiefs. The line's 3.5. How about Patrick Mahomes twisting his ankle, high ankle sprain, and he's right back, and they say looking great.
That's awesome. I'm picking the Chiefs on that one.
They say I'm taking the Texans.
I'm going
All
to take
right.
the Chiefs. Here's the one that's interesting, especially if that Clemson-Texas game is a rout, like I think. Steelers-Ravens, line 6.5. And I heard this
Are they
morning.
on at the same time? Why did the NFL want to do that?
I do not know, but that's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's like they didn't even check.
But
They
the
just scheduled.
Steeler-Ravens game is interesting because they say Lamar Jackson's only beat the Steelers 1 time.
It don't
I don't
matter.
think
It'll be
he's-
twice today.
I don't think so.
I do.
I'm picking the Steelers on this one.
Too many
You
injuries
taking
for
the
the
Ravens?
Steelers, and I think Russell Wilson's going to be giving it away. He's going to revert
Okay, you
back to
think
what he
so?
is. I love the
I'm
Ravens
taking
today.
the Steelers.
I'll
Love
take
the Ravens.
Okay. All right. I'm going against the grain today. I'm
You are.
No, you are. Hey, you're fine.
I just
Hey, no. Bill went against your grain because he was with you, but
I
then
was.
he,
Oh yeah,
then
he
he
did.
just
He left
kicked
me
you out of the
hanging.
vote.
Yeah, I'm on a limb. That's all right though. I'm pulling for Tennessee. Trust me.
Oh, we all are. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, good football on Sunday as well. Eagles and the Command Skins. That'll be an interesting game.
You know the
Yeah.
Command Skins are getting sued.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're wanting their name
wanting
back.
their name back.
I told you that a couple of weeks ago.
Line's 3.5 in that one. I like the Command Skins to cover that line. I think they're going to give them a good ball game with the Eagles. I think it's going to be a good one. It's at the Command Skins.
So you think? So you're picking the Command Skins?
I'm picking them to cover the 3.5.
Oh well,
I
what
can
do
be
you
a
think
3-point
about
ball
the
game, but
That
Eagles by 3.
That
Eagles
don't
by
go in
3.
the
All right.
game.
Okay.
But
Hey,
it wouldn't shock me if they beat them. Wouldn't shock me.
They ain't gonna beat the Eagles.
all right.
Titans Colts.
All right.
I'm going with the Titans this week, guys.
Where's
you know
it
why?
at?
Doesn't matter. It's at the Colts. Why would I go with the Titans and they're getting 3.5? And I like them to win the game outright. Why would that be?
Why? Because they're not playing your boy.
Will Levis free. We're free.
I'm
We
gonna
lost
go-
5
hey,
games because of this guy.
I'm-
the Titans are not bad
the
once
Titans-
Will Levis hit
I'm
out there.
gonna
I tell
take
you-
the Titans on this one.
The Titans are, man, they are so depleted.
Yes.
They are so depleted.
So you're picking
Wow.
the Colts here?
I ain't gonna pick against the Titans. No,
Well, I
I'll
mean,
pick
do
the
you
Titans.
really think the Titans are going to win the game?
Well,
I picked them last week.
Okay, but
Let me
was your heart in that?
Yeah.
pick? Okay.
sure
all right.
was.
All right. So you're picking the Titans.
a guy that rivals Will Levis is Anthony Richardson of the Colts.
Yeah.
He's going to give you some balls and maybe
I
a
know it.
fumble or
That's
two.
right.
Well, you better hope he don't get going.
Nah, he's not going to get going.
What about this one right here?
Saints Packers, the line's 14. The Saints, you talk about depleted. No Alvin Kamara, no quarterback. But 14 in the NFL is a lot of points.
They almost won last week.
Yes, they
The
did.
Saints. They went for the win instead of tying, going to overtime. Packers playing pretty
is
good
gonna
ball.
be- Packers
14's
gonna
a big
beat them
line.
bad. Packers going to drill them.
The other
14's a big
big
line.
line was
Yeah.
Buffalo and New England. The line's 14 there, too. Vikings Seahawks is interesting to me. The Vikings are favored by 3 at the Seahawks.
I'm
in
taking the
Seattle.
Seahawks. Right
Seattle's
here.
a tough place to
I'm
play.
telling you.
I think I like the Seahawks, too.
I
Maybe
do
pull
too.
off
I
an
like
upset. How about the Buccaneers and the Cowboys?
Cowboys is done.
They're actually playing better.
They're done.
I told a buddy of mine, who's a Cowboys fan, I said, you know what? I could make the argument that C.D. Lamb looks better and the Cowboy offense looks better with Cooper Rush than it did with Dak Prescott.
You could make
Just
that.
saying.
Argument. You could argue
They
that.
won more
Hey.
games
I know you're going to argue.
You're gonna argue
gonna
that.
make
You're
it.
gonna argue that
because that's the biggest waste of $60 million I ever saw.
So
was Dak
are
Prescott.
you picking the Cowgirls?
I think the Cowgirls, yes, I'm going to pick them.
Okay, all right.
They got a good defense. Cooper Rush has played well, and they're running the football
Against
that
who?
Rico Dowdle, the Buccaneers.
And Baker Mayfield.
Yep. I'm going for the upset Cowboys
And it's
at
where?
home in Dallas.
No.
Dallas is playing better, guys.
Okay, I'm anxious to watch that game. But the
No.
one I really want to watch, pro, is the Steelers Ravens. That's the one I'm.
That's the one
You
I
ain't
want
going
to
to watch
peek at
that
too.
game.
Huh?
You better not be watching that
Well,
game.
Well, it's at
if the
3:30.
and if the
Texas
Texas game's
game's
a
gonna be a
rout.
blowout.
at least go back and forth during the
I
commercial.
think-
the
I'm
Texas
thinking,
game.
yeah.
It's
Tennessee's
early.
later. Yeah, Tennessee's at 7.
Okay, I was thinking it was against Tennessee.
Well, guys, we've had a big year this year. We've had a lot
Had
of
a
fun
great
doing
year.
this, and we're going to come back in January. It'll be January 18th when we come back.
Is it the 18th?
The 18th.
Is that far?
Yeah. That far.
What's next weekend?
Huh?
What's next weekend? New Year's or something?
Yeah. New Year's.
Yeah, we got Christmas this
Christmas
week.
this week. Then New
Then New
Year's.
Year's.
And I won't be back in town till.
Oh, you're going to Florida?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just going to parts unknown.
Oh.
Parts unknown.
Go visit
With the
Dave's house
grandkids?
out of town.
No. Nope. Just.
You and your wife?
Yep.
No grandkids.
No grandkids.
No McDonald's
Good.
stopping off the playground.
No. But it's been a fun year, and I want to thank our sponsors.
Exactly.
100 times. I mean, you could say it a million times every show, and it not be enough. And I want to throw out a couple other sponsors as well. SLC Firearms and Chevrolet Lumber. They helped us with the Judd Dryden show this year. We want to thank Mike Matusik and his gang down there. And, of course, First Bank and Kincaid.
Service
Company.
Where Service is their middle name. I
And
know
they'll haul it off.
They'll haul it off. And if you're sitting around right now trying to figure out what to get your wife, and there's this appliance that's a little shaky, now's the time. Go down there today, and it's not too late. I guarantee you they'll hook you up before Christmas. And they might even put a bow on it, but they will definitely haul off what the old one is.
Yep.
And then I also want to thank Chevrolet Animal Hospital for working with the community coaches show this year. Y'all did that.
Yep.
And
I want to thank the young lady there that starts us off with a great voice.
Yeah,
Julia Reagan, little girl, my little girl.
But most of all, thank you guys for watching us and putting up with us every week. We're going to be back, and it will be right before the college championship game. So we will be able to make our final predictions on that game when we come back, and we will have all of these bowls to go through and see. We have picked the bowls, and we're going to see who the winner is. The winner gets a prize.
All right.
All right. So, guys, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family. And I know you guys want to wish them the same thing.
Merry Christmas. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Everybody be safe, and we'll see you when we come.